Okay, so finally I'm here. Why I say finally I'm here is because I've been getting distracted. I was thinking to make this video. It's almost 11 o'clock. It's November 27th, Wednesday, 2024. The year is 2024. And interestingly, today is exactly 6 months since I started this channel. So it's a 6 months anniversary. Yay! um, I'm a little excited because when I started these videos, I didn't know that first thing that if I would continue making these videos daily, I mean, I had all the intentions, but I wasn't sure if I would do it or could do it or should do it. I don't know. And I'm glad that I made the 6 months mark, and thanks to all of you, because I don't know if the situation was different, meaning if I didn't get any of the encouragement, could I continue or would I continue? I don't know. So along this journey in the 6 months, there are many of you who encouraged me through comments, through likes, and also sharing, because I see on the background that a lot of people have shared this channel with others, and I feel so grateful. I really feel so grateful that you found something worthwhile in these videos to share with others, right, in life, and especially in these videos as I focus on midlife. Life brings up different kind of challenges, and sometimes what we simply need is to be able to relate to another person who might be going through same or similar things, because as much as we know, the social media has all the fun and good memories that people capture, and I don't think there is anything wrong with that. People a lot of time will talk about, social media being like not a real life, but I think that's the purpose. The social media people go to capture those good moments, because if everybody was posting their day-to-day challenges, would people come to see that? Probably not, because everybody in their life, like, when people go to movies in some way, the entertainment, right, they go for entertainment. Some people like comedy, some people like I don't know, like other kind of sci-fi movies, because movie is like escape, a little bit escape from reality. And for me, those are like, right now, it's Christmas movies. Other than Christmas movies, normally I like rom-coms, romantic comedies, and I used to watch a lot of them. In the recent past many years, I think life got busy, priorities changed, and I didn't watch them as much. But I'm getting back to those again, because those are escape for me. And lately, Christmas movies has been a good escape. Last night also I watched a new movie that was good. um, and it's funny, my daughter Alice would say that. So yesterday we were coming from somewhere in the evening, and we dropped by the library a little bit. I had to return 2 books, and she picked up 4 books, a kid's book. I don't know if she will read them, but I think since she picked those up herself, she probably will. So anyway, as we were going there, it was I don't know, 7:30 in the evening, so it was dark, and there were a lot of Christmas lights in many people's houses. And she's like, "It's not even Thanksgiving yet. Why do they have all this Christmas stuff already out?" I'm like, well, So I kind of jokingly say that, Thanksgiving is part of Christmas. She's like, no, it is not. Then I tell her that, well, in mommy's mind it is, because I like to enjoy Christmas as long as I can. Anyway, so, the things that we enjoy, the things that we like, there is no harm in getting deep in that as long as it's not hurting others. So my daughter Alice and I, of course, we were kind of joking. It was not like a real going back and forth. It was more like a joking. And then she knows that I'm so into Christmas, and yeah, so we have a little fun time with that. Um, yeah, so this year, this is a holiday in the U.S. Um, Thanksgiving and Christmas are two biggest holidays. People at workplaces, at home, and everywhere celebrate this. They meet family after a long time, and I think in the recent years, people are more worried about discussion in their, uh, around this holiday meal about elections. But in a grand scheme of things, people forget that these things are so insignificant. I was watching a video yesterday, I think on YouTube, how it pointed out how this earth itself is so minuscule. If you think of minuscule, I don't know if I said the word right, but you get the point. Some of my accent is like so mixed up now. It doesn't sound like Indian, it doesn't sound like American, and it's somewhere in between. But my thing is, as long as people understand the words, good enough. Anyway, because I think I've, not I think, for real, I have lived here a long time, like 19 and a half years now. Next year, mid next year will be 20 years. Anyway, this world itself is so minuscule compared to the universe, galaxies, and so many other planets and whatnot. And we tend to think that everything is permanent, and then we go after something so strongly, and I do that too. We all do it, and we forget that first thing is life is not forever, and second thing is we don't know when life could be ending. It could be a few days, it could be many years, somewhere in between. But we like to hold on to things thinking that that's forever. And sometime when we remind ourselves of that everything is impermanent, life becomes a little bit easier. It becomes easier to accept the things that we can't change, because we can't change the things that is outside of us, that is outside of our control anyway. But we have fear, anxiety, worry, all of that comes from things that we can't change, but we want to change. And we all know that, but we forget, and with practice, it's easier to remember. And then, more we accept the things that we can't change, it becomes easier. And at least for me, I think, in this midlife after 40, I have become a little more wiser with these things, that it's better to learn how to accept the things that we can't change, rather than chasing things to make it in our own ways that can't be. my thought is that we can only focus on ourselves, and anything that starts with I is what I can change. Anything that does not start with I cannot. Even my daughter, if I want to change her behavior, I want her to be, I don't know, more respectful, or follow through on certain things, I can't necessarily directly influence her behavior. I have to do that. And again, goes back to I, right? I have to do that for her to be able to see, so that she can do that. And like for parents, they say that kids learn more by seeing than what they hear, right? So it's like, if we tell them to do this or do that, and one way they would say that, like, imagine if somebody was constantly telling you to do this or do that, it just sounds like you're following order, right? Rather, when we see somebody doing the right things, they're following through with their words, and they're being respectful to others, and they're being nice to the kid, even when the kid is not nice, but explaining it to them what's expected, and how it might hurt somebody, and then they reflect that. I've seen that with Alice, and maybe that's part of it, that why in midlife, and I'm not saying it happens only through kids. People learn many different ways. People sometimes choose not to have kids. People sometimes learn different ways. There is all different ways to learn. For me, I think I learned a lot after Alice was born, when she was young and when she started talking, and she's this big inspiration in my life. There are many inspirations, but she is my biggest inspiration. And to live a life, a fulfilling life, is also to show her that, so that helps her to deal with challenging situations in life. Life will have many challenges, and for her to be able to get back up and keep going is important. And sometimes, we go through many kinds of difficulties. Like for me, growing up in a small town in India, I have gone through different kind of difficulties that taught me different lessons, from which I learned many things that still helps me today. And in Alice's life, there are other kind of challenges. All kids, even they say in psychology books, that even in a best household where their happiness is there a lot all the time, there are some sort of suffering. Everybody goes through some sort of suffering. So our job as parents is, we can, as much as we can, minimize the suffering, right? Whichever way possible. So I try to keep that in mind. So today's video I have, and like the reason I said that 6 months ago I didn't know if I could or would, or should continue with these videos, is also because the vulnerability that I bring into these videos, these are raw. I talk about my raw emotions, and then they say once you put something out there on internet, it's there forever. Which is why, I share a lot, but there are still few things I don't share because it's public. But majority of it I share. So this week and today has been a little bit of mixed emotion for me, and that is life, because last many years, holidays I have spent a little differently than I will be spending this year, like tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So it's different, and sometimes different can mean good, sometimes different can mean bad, sometimes different can mean you know, just neutral, because we ourselves are the ones who, you know, tag it as good or bad. Everything in this world is neutral based on our life experience until now, and and our belief systems and everything. We tend to attach the meaning if it is good or bad, right? So they say, sometimes when we try to accept the things and the things that we can't change, and when we try to live a peaceful life, to live an observer life. Now, observer life, I've talked about this in some other videos too. Observer's life is basically whatever is happening, not to criticize, blame, or what was the other thing? Not to criticize, blame, or not condemn, but something else. I can't remember. Anyway, to anyone else or to yourself for anything that has happened. Live an observer's life. It's almost like your own life. Live it like as if you're watching a movie and you are the main character of the movie. Because when we are watching a movie, generally speaking, we know that it's not really real, and then we just watch it. And our life, it's not that our life is not real, our life is very real, but this kind of gives a perspective that, like a movie, or a movie starts and it ends, our life will be like that too. Our life will start it and it will end too. So it's important not to get so attached, so tied to things and many surrounding things like the job and relationship and home and car and whatnot. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? We all know it's easier said than done because our life is full of attachments, because we as human beings, that's a normal tendency, and that's why we have to kind of practice it. And then eventually it kind of becomes a habit. And habit is what helps us to be able to come out of those cycles of deep attachments, because attachment is good. You need the community, you need the support. As I'm going through different challenging situations in my life, I have this amazing people in my community, multiple communities, and they support me, I support them, and that helps. But if we think about it, majority of our hurt sometimes comes from the people we most care about, and that is because of the attachment, right? When we even if you think of a close friend, when you spend more time together, talk with each other more, there'll be times that you will hurt each other. And then good thing is that with good friends, people will share the real raw emotions, where it is coming from or whatnot. And if they're good friends, they will understand each other, and you will get back on track. And that happens to me too with my really good friends. If sometime if we say things that we don't really mean, or the day was going a little challenging and we said something we didn't mean, we apologize, and it's great after that. So that's because when people know that it's heartfelt apology, and when people know that the intentions are not bad because things happen, people forgive. But the important part also is to remember that what we say in those moments, they can create deep hurt, not heart, deep hurt. And so I try to remind myself to be mindful as much as possible, and I pray so that what we speak our words. In my opinion, they talk about thinking, but in my opinion, what we speak is what is most important. That is what creates our life. That is how we manifest things, because we have 60, 70,000 thoughts every day, and 95% of those thoughts are similar. They say comes from our subconscious. 95% subconscious, which is mostly negative, and 5% is positive. But you can train that subconscious to become more positive. So where I was going with that is, we have 60, 70,000 thoughts, but we are not speaking about all 60, 70,000 thoughts. We are picking and choosing what we want to talk about from those thoughts, and that is what is shifting our life. Because people outside of us, until AI gets smart enough and people start using AI for learning your thought, nobody knows what's going on in our mind, right? So our thought is only in our head, and people learn about us from the little glimpse that they see about us, what we talk. And there's this rule: 7, 38, 55, and 7 is the word. It's a generic rule for all sorts of communication. 7% is the words, 38% is the tone that we speak in, and 55 is the body language. So 7% words, 38% is the tone, 55% is the body language. And now in today's virtual world, I wonder how that changed, because this was a rule that was based on the personal, in-person communication. But I'm pretty sure a lot of it has changed with the virtual communication, because we don't see, other than this part, under this part, we don't see how body language is shifting. Excuse me. So it's possible that the weightage on the words have increased, weightage on the tone has increased, and body language is mostly probably has become the facial, how the facial muscle moves. I think there are like 300 muscles if you count every or something in the face. I don't know exactly, but I'm just quoting from different things that I learned. Because people are seeing more of our facial expressions and just the hand gesture a little bit, right? We don't get to see other body language. So yeah, it's important to keep that in our mind as we communicate. When we are peaceful and happy, and generally speaking, we have neutral feeling, we probably would speak more neutral. When we are happy, we'll probably speak more happy and exciting words, and even the tone and body language will change according to that. And if we are sad, that gets communicated through our face too. And so this morning I did an experiment. So I took 2 pictures of me. Kind of random, just I was experimenting. And one was like neutral, I was not thinking anything, and another was I was in a happy thought. And it was just a maybe split-second difference between these two, and I was amazed seeing the difference of these 2 pictures of myself, because one had that genuine smile, and the other one was I was smiling in the camera and just took the picture. And I was surprised. That actually made me think of that rule even more. I learned about it, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, 8 years ago. And I try my best to remember that as much as possible, but it really deeply resonated with me the most, I think, this morning when I was experimenting with that. And when I took the pictures, I didn't really think about that rule. It was just taking the picture, and I was like, wow. Wow, what is going on in our mind, the thought that shows up in our body language, our facial muscles, and everything. So yes, ultimately it's goes to our thinking. However, it's not possible to monitor 60, 70,000 thoughts a day, because then our life will get exhausted. We won't be able to live our life. We'll be just micromanaging our thoughts, which is not possible. So I think what we can do is, the things that we speak, that is possible to monitor, right? Because the words that we speak, that shapes our reality, the words that we speak, that helps us to take action. And action is the ultimate thing that changes our life. When we say something that helps us to take some action, inspired actions, also it can help others to take inspired actions. Yeah, it's just something just came to my mind as I was saying that. That's why I kind of paused. Anyway, in your life, as folks, as you come and watch these videos, I think there are folks here in the United States and UK and in India, and I think there was one person somewhere from South America from the comments I know, because the other, generally speaking, I think I see the countries on the analytics, but I don't know where else people are watching these videos from. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you really enjoy it with your family and friends, whoever you are celebrating with. Tomorrow I'll be going to my friend's place to celebrate. I'll be going in the afternoon, so I'll still make the video in the morning. And just important thing to remember is, like, life, there's this term midlife crisis, and it does not have to be a crisis. It's just a second chance in life. That's what I keep talking about all the time. It's a second chance in life. If you decide to look at it that way, it ultimately goes back to the decision, because we ourselves are the ones who decide what's good or what's bad, what's taking us where. We decide and we take actions accordingly. So for me, I have decided to do the things that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do for whatever reason in the first half of my life, to do it now. And this little trips that I take, this will be the third one this year. Not too far, a little bit, 2 hours, 3 hours driving distance. My daughter and I have been taking these trips, and it's been really amazing, because traveling has been my deepest desires and dreams for a long time, and for many different reasons I couldn't do that in the last many years. So I'm trying to do a little more of that, and that brings me happiness, that brings me joy. A lot of people put it off until they retire, and sometimes people don't get to retire. My dad, we lived in rented places, and he bought a house, and nothing too exciting. It was, in fact, there was no house, there was a land, and then they built a house, which was not that great, but he wanted to live in that house, his own house, after he retires. And he died when he was 52. He was still working, and he was set for even a promotion, I think the same year when he died, later in that year. Never happened. So, life can be cut short sometimes, even without any any preparations. So my dad died in stroke. He had a stroke, and that was third time. He went to the hospital. He was there for 17 days. He couldn't speak anymore, and he never came back. I was 6 years old. So I have very few memories of my dad. Very few, a handful, like 5 or 10 that I can count, because before that, they said that a lot of our memories gets wiped out. I don't know how our brain functions. It gets wiped out, and some of the memories are very blurry. I don't know, with the AI and all that, someday it'll be nice if they can reignite those memories in our mind. Maybe it's possible, because so many things are, they're making it possible, but maybe some parts in my brain, those are there, and I'll be able to experience those again. Who knows? Maybe in our lifetime will happen. Yeah, so it's a lot of mixed emotion, and I also think about the excitement next year will be better. And in May 27th, when I started these videos, exactly 6 months, May 27th, which was Memorial Day weekend. My calendar is there, so I was just looking there. May 27th, because I had been thinking to start this since March, and then something or the other kept happening and didn't do it. May 27th was like, I'm like, okay, I am going to start the videos today no matter what, and I did it, and I'm so glad I did. 6 months from there, I'm still doing it, and it has transformed me in ways that I could not have imagined. And a lot of time, that's what it takes in life. We have to get through the darkest time to see the brightest sun, because otherwise we take things for granted. There is sunlight every day, and we forget to be grateful for that. And this morning, the sun comes through the window. I take the blinds up when the sun is not directly hitting my face, and later on in the day I get the blinds down and I put it in a way so that the lights come in, but I don't get hit with the sunlight. And this morning the sun was coming, and I was drinking my coffee and my energy squares, which is like energy ball. You may have heard online energy balls. So I make them like energy square instead of trying to make the balls, which takes even harder. I just cut them up and they're like energy square. That's what I eat a lot of time with my coffee. So that was my breakfast. And then I saw the sun hitting this cross that I bought from online, from Amazon. I think a few weeks ago, last month sometime. And the sun was hitting here, like this part of Jesus, his head and the arms, and I kept looking, and right before that I was reading something online, and there was a mention of the sunlight, and maybe that's why my mind got so focused on that, and I was like really present in that moment, just being there, not thinking about anything else, just looking at the sunlight reflecting from that Jesus's cross. And for me, it has been a different kind of transformation from faith perspective too. If you see my videos in the early days of the 6 months, I grew up Hindu, and I was still worshiping Hindu gods. So back of me here, I had those tapestry of Shiva from Amazon that I got, and then I also followed Buddhism, and my style is, by now you probably know if you're watching these videos for a while, whatever I learn, I go so deep, very deep. Maybe that has something to do with my personality. Anyway, so, and if you don't know, Buddhism and Hinduism is very similar. The big difference is the caste system. I think the Hinduism has a caste system even now. In India, it's getting relaxed. Well, I don't know, because things are changing again now. I think in general it is more relaxed now. Over time, it's getting more relaxed. Anyway, I don't know for a long time, because 19 years I have been here in India. A lot of the things, unfortunately, I am not able to keep track as much. So anyway, but in Buddhism, the caste system is not there. What Buddha taught, the caste system is not there, and for me, I had some, I would say, transitional books. One was The Energy of Prayer by Thich Nhat Hanh, where he talks about Lord's Prayer. That was intriguing, and there are some other parts of the book were very intriguing that slowly kept me going towards Christianity. And then there was this book, The Book of Joy, and I have many videos around that. Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. Dalai Lama is, I don't know if you want to say head, he's the head of Buddhism, and Desmond Tutu is also at the very top of Christianity, and he died, I think, a few years ago. That book, The Book of Joy, is about both of them being very good friends and spending a week together to celebrate Dalai Lama's 80th birthday. So that was another transitional book. And two others. One is Norman Vincent Peale. He was a clergyman, and he talked about the power of positive thinking, where it brings things from Bible. Also, it brings things from the just simply the positive thinking and prayer and all of that. And the last one, I mean, I might come across more books, but the last one, the fourth one, I think, was The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, written by Joseph Murphy. And he was a pastor. He might have, he lived 100 years ago, so the book is very old. And there he talks about, so the explanation of that book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, connects, they say that it connects Christianity with the non-Christian people the best way possible, because a lot of time there is a conflict between scientific thinking and some Christianity belief, maybe, that the thinkings don't go hand in hand. And in that book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, he shows, being a pastor, so he speaks it in a language that I think both sides understands, and they see that how it connects. And so those were my bridge between, I don't know, Hinduism to Buddhism to Christianity. And there are many other things that I experienced in the last many months. And then I'm enjoying the church life now. I have built several communities, and the people are amazing. And the difference, I think, is that the community and the people in your life is extremely important, because without practice, we tend to go back to that subconscious, we tend to go back to our autopilot life. And no matter how much we try, our life is not meant to be alone when we try it by ourselves or just one or two friends. It's not possible because life gets busy, and those one or two friends, as much as they have good intentions, they may not have the time when we need them. And that's why I really love the church community, because there are so many different communities. You can go to different events and you know learn and give, and it also resonates with me with the, excuse me, the kindness and compassion that, which is in all religion. It's not only Christianity, which is, ethical living, and they're all there. And unfortunately, in today's day, there are different kinds of teachings. Sometimes it kind of, things get muddied up, and so we have to pick and choose for ourselves who do we want to be. So, like for me, point A to point B. For Alice, my daughter, who is my ultimate inspiration, I want to be a kinder person. I want to be a more compassionate person. I want to. For her, this is really important, I know, because the other day I was showing her some prayer that I wrote, and she highlighted this part. I'm like, okay, this is what she's looking for from me. Is like my, I talk about, and in the prayer I have like my thinking, feelings, and actions. Thinking, speaking, and actions, right? So she's like, she highlighted the speaking and the actions. I'm like, okay, I gotta work more on that. She didn't say anything, she just highlighted those parts, and that was a good feedback in an interesting way she provided to me. And me as a mom, I took it as a very positive sign that how she is seeing where I can improve. Right. So yeah, so for me, it's been a interesting and transformational journey. Even 3 months before, my life looked a lot different. If you see my videos 3 months before, or when I started, you'd see there and now. I hope to continue in this path where not only for me, it's for others who might be going through different kind of challenges in life. The challenges does not have to define us. The setbacks does not have to keep us back. Setback can be a comeback, like how they say. We can all do the things that once we always wished for, and there are little ways to do it. And I bring the example of, I love to travel. Like 15 years ago, if you told me, I probably would have said that, oh, I want to go to China, Japan, and France, and UK, and wherever, and some days I'll probably go to those countries. But now, all things considered, that is something I can't do, but I would choose not to do because of many things going on. Rather, but I'm still doing the little travels, right? Like in March, I went to Pennsylvania, and August, another place in Pennsylvania, and this December, for this Christmas holiday trip that I have been wanting to for many years, that finally I'm going, we're going. It's not far. It's only like 3 hours from here. We'll drive, and that's what I mean. Like, we can always do something that we wanted that we couldn't, like a smaller version of that, right? That can still, excuse me, generate happiness and give us the fulfillment that we have been craving for a long time. And this is your chance. This is your chance. So if you are going through some things like this, or challenging emotions, and somebody who is going through these challenging emotions, share some of these things that you have learned that worked for you, because you never know what little thing could resonate with somebody. So say one last thing, and then I'm gonna finish the video. I'm talking for 45 minutes straight. I had no idea when I started making this video that I'll be this long today. Anyway, so a friend of mine, she's a very good friend, and she and I were talking about something. It was about a month ago, I think, month or 2 months ago. And for right now, she's living by herself, and she doesn't have any kids, and which is her own decision. So she's not sad about that or anything. It's just she's living her life alone. And I was surprised about a few things, and then she was like, not about surprised about living alone, because I lived by myself also many years ago. And she was like, sometime, just by being yourself with the thoughts, that can be good. It was just one or two sentences that she said, and it stayed in my head. Sometimes I can be a deep thinker. Not sometimes, I think a lot. Sometimes I talk about it, sometimes I don't. But anyway, so in the last week or so, I think I did that. That stayed in my head, and sometimes we have to go through the deeper thoughts, and in Buddhism they would call it the knots can be so deep in our mind, and when we think very deeply about those knots, and then if there is emotion attached to it and we release it, we forgive the person, we forgive not only the person who may have created it, we forgive ourselves, then that knot can be untied. And I use that because I think that's the easiest way to explain the concept, is that when something is so tight, knot is very tight, and it's way deep underneath. Imagine if it's a seed that is 10 feet deep, and it's there. It's not that it never comes back. It can come back with, I don't know, some music, some smell, with our, our senses. Different kind of senses can bring this up in a, I don't know how to say it, like in an unhealthy way. Rather, when we can untie that and get that deeply rooted seed gently up to the ground, and it gets the sunlight, then the knot is untied, and there is no challenging emotions tied with that anymore. They say that there is this thing, I think it might be Thich Nhat Hanh who wrote that in a book. When you think of a memory from a long time ago, when you remember the memory clearly, but you don't get very sad about it or something, if it's a sad memory, that's when it means that you have released that emotion. It's just stayed in as a memory, and then it becomes a wisdom, and that is when you have learned the most from that experience. And it is hard. It's harder than harder to implement and learn from than we realize. Speaking is easy, but doing it is harder. But more we keep practicing that, like, if we can dig deep for like 1 foot or 2 feet, we can dig deep and get the seed out, untie the knot, and get that seed to get the sunlight. We can keep doing it, going 4 feet deep, 6 feet deep, 10 feet deep, and we can bring all of those, and that is what also increases the elastic band that I talk about, the patience and learning and growing from. It keeps growing. There is no end to it. It's infinite. I know I have gone in so many directions today with his talks, but that's part of my journaling, right? I hope you guys do some of that too, either with friends you talk about, or you write it down or something, because trust me, this has been so transformative. I cannot explain it. So many of my thoughts and fears and that I used to be, I don't know, either afraid of or um, didn't know what to do about. I think I was able to solve and take action, and ultimately, when we take action, that's when real change happens, real positive change happens, and a lot of that was possible because I tried my best to stay consistent. And again, so grateful for all of you, because 6 months ago, I could not imagine that people I don't know would come and comment and give me encouragement. Not only once in a while, people that are, you guys are coming and giving encouraging comments and an ongoing basis. Be, I can't explain how grateful I feel. I didn't know 6 months ago, so it makes me feel very um, emotional in some way, and so grateful. Like I always say, it reminds me of the humanity and the kindness of this world, and there are little things that divides people, but there's 8 billion people, and the core of everybody is that genuine care and the thought to help others. So I hope you do that too, also to your loved ones, your family, your friends. Maybe a friend you have not talked to for months, pick up the phone and talk to them, or maybe send a text wishing Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Or if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, other kind of holidays, those are another chance to connect with them, right? So I know I said that will be the last story, but this will be the absolute last because I'm gonna finish it before 1 hour. So there is this TED Talk. I watch TED Talk a lot. Robert Waldinger. His name is Robert Waldinger. He talks about happiness, how the relationship is what makes us happy in life. So this is a 75 years longest running research they did in Harvard, 75 years long, many generations, to see what makes people happy. If you haven't seen that video and if you're interested, just Google it, like on YouTube, look it up, Robert Waldinger, happiness, it should come up. I think it has like 20 some million views, and it is all about relationship. When we have good relationships in our life, those are the people that, when they're close to finishing their life, they said they were the happiest, and they checked with those people as part of the research throughout their lives, and somebody who might not even have a good job, that they were paycheck to paycheck, they had good relationships in their life, and they were happier than people who are very rich and lived a more sophisticated life, to say, in some way. So the relationships, so strengthen those relationships with people around you, your family, your friends, whoever you consider that they're your loved ones, because in the end, seems like, at least from research, that is what matters the most. And in the relationships, the focus, we forget a lot of time is we have to go with what we can give. And we as human beings, it's normal that we want to get some return, we want to receive, but that also happens through giving, because if we go with the intention to receive, that does not happen. Because Dale Carnegie, he wrote in the book How to Make Friends and Influence People, that you can make friends in 2 months by, like, being their side, like you listen to their stories, versus 2 years to tell your story to them. And like, as we talk to people, that's what you gotta remember, And I know this YouTube, I'm talking about a lot of my stories, and that's what I would encourage you to share your story sometime when you feel comfortable. Share your story. I would love, love, love to hear your story, especially for the folks who are coming here regularly. I would love to hear your story because YouTube is not only like one-way street. We can be we can be support for each other, um, and somehow this midlife is a time that somehow I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't get enough um, support from the society. Like, there is support when you're a kid, there is support when you are in 20s, you're looking for jobs. There is like direct support for people, and when people are older because of physical health and other things, there is support. But even in midlife, because life is suffering, we believe it or not, we like it or not, and midlife people suffer like little differently, probably more emotionally than physically, right? And that kind of support, sometime when people um, go to a therapist, for example, that can be looked at as a stigma in many countries. Even in the United States, it's a developed, sorry, developed country. Some people, I'm going to get some people mad by saying developing country. United States is a developed country. Um, you know, it's when people need those help and support, that can be looked at very differently. And but people need support, people need that help, that community support, and friend support. We can be that for others, because you never know what little simple one liner you might say. Oh, your shirt is, you know your shirt looks good. And I still remember when I went to the library, I don't know, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, one older woman, she just randomly said, "Oh, your shirt looks really nice, or very pretty," something like that. And then I still remember that. I don't know her, but I remember that little comment, right? And that day, I remember I made a video because the day was going okay, not the best, and that was one thing that made me feel so happy. So we can be that person for people, and sometimes people, we don't even know, but we would make that big difference. And just for that, they might take some inspired action, which can change their lives, because that happens. That does happen. Anyway, covered a lot today. Different things. I didn't think any of this before. Somehow it just came up. And again, it goes back to this. This is what journaling is all about. Pour your heart out doing something that you really love doing, and you would enjoy, and you'd love it, and people around will love it. For how this might be transforming you. I have made some really good friends, new friends, strengthened the connection with some old friends, and this journey has been amazing so far. And looking forward with more excitement how the second chance in life is going to take me. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day or evening or night, whatever your time is, and I'm gonna be back tomorrow. Okay, bye.